In the words of the legendary Brenda Fassie, umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. Hello and welcome to it. This is hashtag Africa Mduduzile Ramela. In the next 15 minutes, we'll be taking a comprehensive look at some of the stories that dominated headlines across the continent. Starting with this, Morocco's King Mohammed VI has invited Algeria for a direct dialogue to break a political stalemate and restore full ties between the two countries. The King's address came on the 43rd anniversary of the Green March. In 1975, thousands of Moroccans marched on Western Sahara, demanding an end to Spanish occupation of the territory. The Spanish government relinquished control of the area, but the Polisario Front, a secessionist movement backed by Algeria, began calling for the right to self-determination. Rabat maintains the territory is an integral part of the country. In his address, King Mohammed VI hinted that his country's position would remain unchanged. In Cameroon, President Paul Biya was inaugurated on Tuesday for his 7th term in office amid rising separatist unrest. 78 boys and girls kidnapped from a boarding school in the northwest were also reunited with their parents on Tuesday. The government and English-speaking separatists have accused each other of orchestrating the kidnapping. The secessionists took up arms last year, demanding independence for Cameroon's English-speaking northwest and southwest regions. They have long complained that they face discrimination from the country's francophone majority. There have also been complaints of exclusion from top civil service jobs. Biya asked all fighters to drop their guns, threatening further military action. Now, this year marks 10 years since the death of Mama Miriam Makeba, known to you and I as Mama Africa. Her political activism through her voice drew attention to the injustices committed against the people of the African continent. Mama Makeba was exiled for 31 years and returned to South Africa when former President Nelson Mandela beckoned for her to return home upon his release from prison. Mama Miriam Makeba has captured our imaginations for generations with songs such as Soweto Blues and Malaika, amongst her countless body of work. We reflect on her legacy now with her granddaughter, Zenzi Makeba, her great-grandson Lindelani Makeba, as well as another great-grandson of hers, Kwame Makeba Mkize. Thank you so much for joining us. Zenzi, let me start with you. She was a lot of things to a lot of us here on the continent. Who was she to you?
She was my grandmother first and foremost, like any other grandmother, like your grandmother, like everybody's grandmother. She showed the love of a grandmother, but she was also a mother to me as well, because I lost my mother at a very young age in West Africa, in Conakry, Guinea. So she played the role of filling that role up, but she was always a grandmother. She was a grandmother, yeah. Lindelani,
you knew her very, very well. From a very tender age of 6 months, I believe, you were already traveling with your great-grandmother. What a privilege, what an honor. Who was she to you?
In a way, I guess I'll have to reflect what my mother said. You know, we see everybody speak about her in this very grand manner, which is understandable and respectable, definitely. But to us, she never really brought that icon's aura to us. She just was very much a very homebody, very down to earth, and sweetest lady you'd ever meet.
Yeah. Kwame, what do you know about your great granny?
I know that she was one of the best great grandmothers that I've had, and that I hope to grow up like her one day.
You hope to grow up like her one day. We hear that she gave you your name, Kwame, and Zenzi, that speaks to her love for the African continent. Tell us more about that. We heard it through her music, but what did this continent mean to her?
This continent meant everything to her. I mean, her name, Mama Africa, she did not name herself that. She loved this continent, she loved people, but not only this continent, she extended herself to the world at large. But in this continent, she's Mama Africa.
Right.
It speaks, her name speaks for the love that she had for the continent that was given to her by the people.
Right. Lindelani, how did your great-grand's love for the continent influence you?
Influence me? I am an African. She had a very, it's almost difficult to put into words because it was never something you really saw very often. She loved everybody, like literally. And it wasn't the type of feigned type of, hey, I love you. It was a serious type of, have you slept? Have you eaten? Are you okay? Is there anything I can help with? Type of thing. And this could be anyone from myself, himself, to a brand new stranger. And I feel that's really what she was indirectly teaching us, to learn how to live for more than just yourself.
Sure. Zenzi, her political activism through her music, it changed a lot on this continent. It definitely brought attention to some of the issues that happen not only in South Africa and West Africa and in other parts of the continent. How much did she take on that perhaps we were not privy to?
I mean, she took on a lot. I mean, but at the same time, she did say, I have a quote here from her, which I know by heart. I don't have to read it. But she said that I'm not a politician. I merely sing the truth. In French, she would say, je suis pas un politicien, je chante que la vérité. I sing the truth. And truth meaning wherever there was injustice upon humanity in general, people. Doesn't matter where you come from, but when something was wrong, she did something about it. It affected her to the point that she had to act on it. So politically, she always used to say, please, I'm not a politician, I'm merely a singer. This is actually a quote she used to say, where she would say later in her life, she said, honestly, I'm just a little old lady, a little old singer. I'm not a politician. I'm not an economist or anything of the sort. I just wish people could be soldiers. We can all be soldiers. Soldiers not to fight against each other, but to fight against poverty, illness, disease, greed, and all the ills of the world, you know, to be an army for all goodness.
Sure.
That's what she was about.
Sure.
Yes.
She lived so much for us. She shared so much of herself with us as well. Kwame, what would you like your great-granny to know if you could give her a message?
If she were here, I would say, I love you. I think you are one of the greatest people I've ever met. And I hope you live a long, happy life.
Ndelani, your message to your granny?
I miss you, along with many people. And hopefully, when we see each other again, we'll be just as happy.
Indeed. And Zenzi, perhaps also in closing, your message to your grandmother?
My message will be to you and to NCA. That's what she'd want me to do. To say thank you. To say thank you for making this 10th anniversary a beautiful 10th anniversary for a superstar, a beautiful one. Thank you. Thank the viewers of ENC, all the engineers, everybody that's working here. Thank the nation at large. And I hope we all light a candle on Friday tomorrow to remember Mama Africa, because she loved all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming through and sharing with us. But before we let you go, you have a special performance for us. This is a musical family. If you could please take us out on a rather powerful note. It's over to you guys.
Okay. And we stand up. Angilala, Gababo, Angilala, Angilala, Sebe Kulumanga, mi Zinora Birendra, we Zinom Tombo. Tombo ababo, zendre na wo, zinom tombo, zinora birenda, wo, zinom tom, woya tombo ababo, zendre na wo, zinom tombo. I will do one more for you.
Sure.
Malaika. So Kwame can join me in the chorus. Malaika, nakupenda malaika, malaika, nakupenda malaika, ningekuoa maliwe, ningekuoa ndugu, nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa malaika, nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa malaika, malaika, nakupenda malaika, malaika, nakupenda malaika, ningekuoa maliwe, ningekuoa ndugu, nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa malaika, nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa malaika.
Thank you so much. That was extra special, and thank you for being in conversation with us and for sharing with us. That was Zenzi Makeba, Lindelani Makeba, and Kwame Makeba Mkize, the family of music icon Umamu Miriam Makeba, Mama Africa. Do stay with us. When we return, South Sudan steps up precautionary measures against the Ebola virus. More on that in a moment.